Hi guys, this is Limit of Londo giving you part 14 on my Dark Souls 3 walkthrough. Today we're gonna cover an area called Irithyll Dungeon, which naturally is gonna be in the underground of the city of Irithyll itself. Last episode we cleared out Pontiff Sullivan and made a clearing to enter the main city, but instead we went back to the bonfire here and went down here. So there's gonna be an item right here, which I forgot to record when I came through here just a couple of minutes ago. And this first section is gonna be covered with enemies like the one encountered in Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. Those Shadow Men and Pontiff Knights and this Fire Witch. Like that. And for this particular area here we're gonna be embering up, because we wanna be invaded by this NPC who's quite familiar from the last Souls game. And that is Alva. Wears a pretty popular armor set. The thing is, he's weird. Oh man. Yeah. It's pretty easy to underestimate, and he wears the Emerald Camo, which is one hell of a sword and pretty dangerous. And he also has a crossbow, which he uses pretty efficiently. Yeah, right there. So let's see if we can get a backstab. Oh! So that was Alva. As you can see, it can be a pretty tricky guy. Most people will try to push him off the ledge and make him fall into his death, which is pretty easy. So this is Irithyll Dungeon. And we're gonna be proceeding straight forward. And in these cells there's gonna be some items we can pick up, starting with a rusted coin. There's gonna be a lot of locked doors and such throughout this dungeon, but we're gonna get the keys needed to open them. So there's the jailer. This is the jailer enemy I was talking about, and it can be pretty tricky. I decided to hop down. Good for us. Oh man, I fell for it. I've done this play so many times earlier and I really fell for it. Curse the white glowing item. Well, I might as well... Oh shit. Might as well show you how to get out of this pinch, because there's gonna be a lot of enemies coming at me now. So this parasite enemy, if you can call it that, you might recognize from Cathedral of the Deep. And they're pretty weak to fire, so this fire buff or firepower mostly is pretty good. And you see that I brought a torch with me this time in order to fight the bleed build up. Let's see if we can put him on fire. No, the torch itself doesn't do much damage, huh? Okay. some range on those leaps. That's pretty fast as well. Alright buddy, let's dance. So you can see they got a lot of HP, unless you use fire. And that guy, he drops the Great Magic Shield. And that is the guy who was locked in a cell. So, in order to get that that spell, you gotta lock him out of his cell, or release him from his cell, which is this one. And then defeat him. Alrighty-o. Let's move on. This is gonna be locked, and in this room there's gonna be soul and more of these parasites freaks. And this cage menu you might recognize from the Undead Settlement. As you can see, my HP bar is dropping pretty drastically, which is an effect from those jailers. And that will drop your HP down to 1 or 2 HP, I think. And pretty much anything can kill you then. Seems that when I'm within his vision or range, is dropping my HP. Let's try to use a bow and arrow. It doesn't seem to. Oh, there he comes. There we go. Let's wait for the HP bar to come back up. There we go. Can be a little tricky to handle this one. Make sure not to be hit by those dung piles they throw. So I have a question for you guys, and I'm gonna make a poll for it. So what weapon would you like me to use further in the walkthrough? I know not many are impressed with me using the dark sword right now, but Sal is pretty efficient and effective. But I got some weapons on my mind that I want to use, and I think it's between continuing with the dark sword, or go back to the Dranghammers, or maybe the Judgment Blade or Judgment Sword, the boss weapon from Sullivan, or the Profaned Greatsword, also from Sullivan, or the Executioner Greatsword, maybe the twin axis, twin winged axis, I think it is. So it's between those weapons I just mentioned that I want to use. That's like my personal choices that I want to try out for the rest of the walkthrough. And if it's any other weapons that you guys want me to try, please vote for it or comment for it, and I'll see what I can do and what the majority thinks, and I'll try it out. So these enemies here is like scaleless or skinless, I don't know, and can be associated with Seath, the scaleless from Dark Souls 1. And this place is kinda similar to the Grand, no, they're not the Grand Archives, but the Duke's Archives. You know, many trapdoors and cells and such. And there is an optional boss in this game, is pretty similar to Sith. We might just take him down in this series as well. So let's buff up before we proceed down there. More of these cage enemies. This door's gonna be locked, yeah. And this room is gonna be pop full of jailers, so I don't think I'm gonna be minding that right now. Here we gotta watch out for that guy, so he can surprise you. Finish him off. How about this guy? Don't you dare. Let's leave him be. Poor guy. I'm gonna pick up some homewood bones, and as you can see there's an item on the right side up there, and we're gonna get that later on. You see all these, the mask or the hat they're using, the inhabitants of this place. Oh, here's the mimic, by the way. Yeah, those hats, I don't know what they represent, but I think it was the inhabitants of the profaned capital, and we're gonna get more into the background of that later in the next part. But the profaned capital had a great disaster, which kind of burned the entire place down and left people either for dead or burnt or scarred. And I think maybe these are the remnants of that city working in the dungeon for Pontiff Sulyvahn. But we'll get deeper into the lore there later in the next episode, and I'll be explaining it a little further. A lot of enemies down this hole. It's very easy to get overcrowded. So just lure them out, like I did here. And we're gonna be picking up this soul. And we can jump down there, but we're not gonna just yet. If you hear the heavy breathing, it's from a pretty big guy. It's another giant. And we're gonna open up this door from this side, and voila, there's our giant. And the way to wake him up is by leaping down like this. And as you may notice, there was a crystal lizard there. Oh, and the giant will easily kill it for you with his punches. Now let's try to get to safety from that big bugger. He will eventually go back to sleep. And we're gonna leave him for now. We're gonna return for him later. I'm gonna drop down and go this way. Get ourselves a pickaxe. And get through this rat infested 0. Rat can be pretty tricky too, but they get a little more predictable moveset than, for example, the dogs. God, I hate dogs. Pick up a soul here, and there's 2 chests ahead, and there's gonna be an ambush of basilisks here. Might hear them in the background, and maybe they'll trigger when I open these chests. The old cell key, and there's our basilisks. That takes care of that. The reason I'm buffing up now is because there's going to be a mimic in these chests. There's a lot of mimics in this place. Uh-oh. That's not good. It's much more faster and aggressive when he has that stance. More the reason to hate these guys. Oh, what the hell, man. Damn. And you get the Dark Clutch ring. A couple of episodes back, I got a comment asking why I had such low HP. And after the last part with Sullivan, I really understood that I needed to invest in some more HP or some points in vigor. And let's face it, if I hadn't, I'd be dead long ago or earlier. So invest in some HP, you guys. We're gonna clear that room we just went in, where we picked up the Titanite shard, but we're gonna pick up the dragon torso stone as well, and we're gonna backtrack a little. So you can see there's an item there which we will get when we take the elevator back down, and we're gonna open ourselves a shortcut right there. So back down the elevator we go. We're gonna get ourselves a pretty nice miracle here. The lightning blade. Now we're gonna face a bunch of those jailer enemies, which I made a video of earlier. It's kinda satirical and funny video of backstabbing these guys with 2 HP. Oh man. Oh crap. So that can easily happen. Like everything else in the game, it will probably fuck you up. So never underestimate enemies in this game. That's all I gotta say. Let's pick up my souls again. Because these guys, when they hit you with the iron thingy, it'll make you fat roll for some reason. They stamp you or brand you. And I don't know what exactly makes your max HP drop, if it's the fog or if you're in their line of sight. I don't know. So this room is going to be full of those pale scales or pale skins. Pretty freaky looking. Looks like small babies with like wings with no feathers, or underdeveloped wings. I don't know what their purpose is here. I do not know. I'm gonna get the profaned coal here, which is a pretty nice item for infusions and such. Andre of the store will be happy to receive it. More of these. See how drastically that HP bar drops. All the way down to a couple of HP. Yeah. Let's try to circle around this guy. Get a little backstab. Oh. Alright. He made it easy for me. And in here, there's a couple of goodies. Xanthus Ashes and the Despranen. The Xanthus mages are the ones with the ridiculously big turbans, or what you'll call them. And inside here is another one of those Bloodbone enemies. That's what I call them, at least. Oh man. The reason I called, because he looks like he's took straight out of Yharnam and put in this place. Poor guy. There we go. And in this cell over here, there's gonna be an NPC, but we don't get the key in this area. We're gonna come back for her later. Her name is Carla, and she's a witch. And further down there is the Profaned Capital. But now we're gonna pick up some things we missed in this place. And the first item is down here. Use the Jailbreaker's key in order to drop down here and pick up the Bellowing Dragon. And the second thing we're gonna do is finish off this giant. And we're gonna use a bow and arrow to do that. You might think this is a cheap tactic, but it's working. And it's better than fighting him down on the ground alone. There we go. And there's a simple reason, because he's pretty easy to maneuver around down on the ground, but the ground is covered with rats that will respawn. So if you're doing it co-op, it's doable. Alone, it's pretty risky and difficult. As you see down there, it's a lot of items. There's also an NPC that we're gonna speak to, an old friend of ours who's got in trouble again. Make sure to clear out this area first before doing anything. The rats are going to respawn after, I don't know, half a minute or so. So make the best out of your time. Pick up the items, and over here we're gonna meet Sigurd.
Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. Oh, look at me. Pardon me, but you needn't worry. I've just been sitting here weighing my options. The moment has almost come. I just need a bit more time. My liberation requires a key. The key is outside. Riddle for the ages. My liberation...
Poor old Sigurd, always getting himself into trouble. And we're gonna take the stairs up here, and you guessed right. This chest is also a mimic. If it's any comfort, Sigurd won't be trapped again after we save him from his cell this time, because we're gonna end his questline in the next episode. And he's got one of the more cooler quest lines and cutscenes for it, because he is involved with one of the Lords of Cinder. And when I say involved, I mean like he's befriended them. He's not like involved romantically or something. If you interpreted that wrong, make a leap over here to get some lightning bolts. And we're gonna drop back down to the ground and open ourselves a shortcut to the bonfire, which pretty much makes the whole dungeon pretty accessible from the start by raising this elevator. So the bonfire is on the top of this elevator, and that's gonna pretty much be it for this episode. I've been Limit of Londo. Thank you guys for watching, and stay classy.